Today we're digging into a fascinating story that bridges nearly 900 years. We're talking about Hildegard of Bingen. So how on earth did a 12th century abbess become a wellness brand you see in the supermarket today? Let's get into it.
We have this real hunger for ancient wisdom, right? We're always looking to the past for some kind of timeless, natural solution to our very modern problems. And when it comes to that search, few names have popped up more recently than Hildegard's.
I mean, if you've ever walked down a health food aisle, especially in Europe, you've probably seen her name. It's on biscuits, teas, all sorts of remedies. It's almost become a stamp of approval for natural products. But all this branding begs a really interesting question. Who was the actual woman behind the logo?
All right, so first, let's just break down the Hildegard we think we know today, the one who lives on grocery store shelves and wellness blogs.
It's kind of wild how big her brand has become. Her name gives this air of ancient, almost mystical authority to everything from cookies to herbal tinctures. She's become this symbol, a timeless guarantee of something being natural and good for you. But here's the kicker. This popular image we have of her, this medieval wellness guru, this healer and cook, it's not some ancient tradition that's been carefully passed down through the centuries. Nope, it's actually a very modern invention, something that's really only taken shape in the last 50 years or so.
To really get what's going on, we need to peel back all that modern marketing and go meet the historical Hildegard.
So Hildegard lived way back in the 12th century. She was a Benedictine nun, an abbess, a writer, a composer, a philosopher, just an absolute force of nature. And look at that last date, 2012. Think about that. Nearly 1,000 years after she was born, the Catholic Church officially named her a Doctor of the Church. That's a huge deal, a title given to only a handful of saints whose teachings are considered universally important.
And Pope Benedict XVI really hit the nail on the head as to why she's still so compelling. He pointed out this incredible harmony in her work between her spiritual teachings and the nitty-gritty of daily life. For Hildegard, taking care of your body and taking care of your soul, that was all part of the same job. Now, her timing in history is so important here. Hildegard was writing at this really unique moment. She was one of the last great female voices in science and medicine for centuries, because right after her time, the rise of universities basically shut women out of those fields.
And because of this unique position, she developed this incredible worldview. She basically saw all of creation as one giant divine pharmacy.
Her biggest scientific work, the Liber Subtilitatums, well, it wasn't just a list of recipes. It was this massive encyclopedia of the natural world. It systematically went through plants, animals, even rocks and minerals, all with one purpose, figuring out how to use them to keep humans healthy. The core idea behind everything she wrote was this powerful belief that God didn't just make the world, but designed it as a perfect system to care for us. For her, nature was this incredible gift, a toolkit filled with everything we could possibly need for both our physical and spiritual health.
And her approach was super practical. Step 1, you had to really, truly know nature. Then, you could use that knowledge to make medicine. And, just as important, you could use these creatures, as she called them, as food to stay healthy in the first place. For her, medicine and nutrition were just two sides of the very same coin.
So how did we get from these deep, complex spiritual ideas to a simple box of Hildegard brand cookies? This is where the story takes a very modern turn. It's really important to get this. Her original books were not simple recipe collections. They were dense, deeply philosophical texts. Every single remedy was wrapped up in this larger spiritual framework about God's creation and our place in it.
So what happened in the 20th century is that this entire spiritual context, the whole worldview that gave her remedies their meaning, it was basically just removed. People cherry-picked the recipes and left the philosophy behind.
And we can pretty much pinpoint the exact moment her modern revival kicked off. In 1970, an Austrian doctor named Gottfried Hertzka published a book that repackaged Hildegard's medical advice for a new generation that was getting interested in natural healing. That book was a huge hit, and it basically launched the Hildegard brand as we know it today.
But, and this is a big but, this repackaging came with a massive problem. Because when you strip away all that context, you risk losing the original meaning. And in some cases, that can be more than just a misunderstanding. It can be downright dangerous. Okay, this right here is a perfect example of a critical and honestly pretty scary misunderstanding. In Hildegard's 12th century Latin, the word tumor just meant swelling. That's it. It could be a bruise, a bump from hitting your shin, any kind of inflammation. But today, when you and I hear the word tumor, we immediately think of cancer. Those two meanings are worlds apart.
And this is exactly where the danger comes in. Some modern books present Hildegard's remedies for a tumor as if they are cures for cancer. But let's be crystal clear, you cannot treat a 21st century cancerous growth with a 12th century recipe for a simple bruise. The translation isn't just a little off, it's profoundly misleading.
The story of Hildegard of Bingen shows us a truly brilliant, remarkable person. But the journey her legacy has taken, from a medieval manuscript to a modern marketing tool, is also a cautionary tale. It shows how easily wisdom can get lost in translation, and it leaves us with a really important question for our own time. How do we honor and learn from the past without just twisting it to fit what we want it to be?